Alright, boys. I got bored, and I wanted to do one of these, because I got bored. So, here are the World Cup 2023, the bracket for it, and all the matches that are going to occur. You got the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and then, because the World Cup is stupid and has always done this, you have the bronze medal match. And you could honestly just get the same out of having a loser's bracket from the semis. You'd get one more match, I suppose, but I feel like that would just be so much better having a loser's bracket from the semis. Maybe they just don't want to put in the time to do that. I have no idea why they don't do a loser's bracket from the semifinals. Like, not doing a loser's bracket including the quarters, that's fine. Like, I mean, it sucks for the teams who are in the quarters, but if you had any plans of getting to the finals, you need to be able to get past the quarterfinals, you know? Obviously, there's some difficult matchups here, including the USA, actually, and the top side of the bracket is stacked. It is so stacked, and like Custa said in his most recent video on this, which I only watched a little bit of, we are going to have, for the first time ever, a new pair of world champions, or the world champion match will be a pair that we have never seen before, because the only 3 teams that have made it to the finals have been Korea, China, and the United States, and they are all in the same bracket, so that's not possible. So that's exciting. And let's just like get right into the odds here. So just to start off with, these are all first to 3. I think the finals are first to 3 too, which is, again, kind of stupid. I don't know why they do some of the stuff that they do. But right off the bat, we have Korea versus Canada, and Canada performed pretty well, actually, in the group stage. I think people expected Canada to be better than Great Britain, and that just wasn't really the case this year. I don't really remember. Let's see. Team Canada Overwatch. Let's see if I can go to Wikipedia and see who's playing on this team. Okay, so Huh? That ain't it. That ain't it, Chief. That is not it. Okay, here we go. I don't think they played Astronex at all. So False, Noxious, Seeker, Cal, Crimzo, and Magic 8-Ball. Those are all pretty decent players. Seeker and Seeker, Cal, Crimzo, and False have all been in the Overwatch League. Noxious played decent, but I think you're looking at Korea, who is one of the favorites to win this entire thing. And honestly, I don't think they played as well as people would have expected them to, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think maybe Canada wins a map here, but you know what? I'm gonna say they don't. I'm gonna be bold and say no. Do not win anything. Okay, let me get this match. And why did we lose to Saudi Arabia, man? Why did we have to lose to Saudi Arabia? Listen, as a USA pilled man, I want to pred us to win, but oh wait, I forgot to do that. Back onto this layer, right? Yeah. As a USA pilled man, I want to pred us to win, but we lost to Saudi Arabia, and we dropped a map to France. And I know we put in super in the last map against Japan, and we looked pretty, or the entire match against Japan, and we looked pretty good, but is that indicative of us being a good team, or is that indicative of Japan just not being as good as us? Hard to say. Hard to say. Unfortunately, I've got to give it to China. I think maybe we take a map. China just looks really good right now. Like, China looks sick. They've got their own style of playing, but they played. That's the weird thing. Is in their last map against. I don't even know who it was against actually. They had a map, or they had the last map on Circuit Royale against some team in their division. They played the Sigma comp and they played it pretty well, and then they just decided to like go silly mode and play a Zarya Genji Sojourn comp, and they still won. And I mean, like, Leave can play the Sojourn, and Leave can play the Genji, and Leave just has so much flexibility on that team. And then Shy is one of the best hit scans in the world, and it's like, man, I just, and they have all that chemistry together as a team. I don't think we can get over that. We have chemistry to a degree, but like, I don't know. I don't know if you compare every single matchup on this team, maybe our backline is better. We have RuPaul, OG, and Ultraviolet. And RuPaul just won the grand finals. And Ultraviolet's been pogging off on Alari. And they have Langsa and Monk. But Langsa and Monk are really good. Monk is crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with China, unfortunately. And then we've got, open up a random tab, lol. How do I actually navigate this site? That didn't work. Okay. I don't know who's on these teams. Paul, I should have opened this beforehand. Bear with me. Who am I even looking for? Finland and it's France. Great Britain. Finland. I'll just open them all. Invited? Huh? Okay, whatever. Spain open? I don't think I have Spain open. Alright. So, Finland versus Great Britain is a very interesting match because I don't think a lot of people expected Finland to get out of the stage they were in. I think it was a highly contested stage if I remember correctly. I don't know who else people thought was going to get. Maybe Australia might have been in their group. I think, or Thailand. I don't know. So someone was in there, and people thought that Finland might not make it out, but they did. They did make it out. They have Vistola, Sauna, Masa. Those are all players who've been in the Overwatch League. Vistola is looking a bit better on this Sigma. Sauna, just on the Florida Mayhem this year. And while he didn't play a whole lot, I mean, he was there. He was there. And then, Masa, it's been a bit since Masa played in the Overwatch League, but he's been playing well. And yeah, Cloud has been playing pretty decent. I honestly, I'm gonna be real here. Don't remember which one of these players are the mainstay for them. Then you've got Great Britain, and this team is theoretically, like, it should be. I don't think they're punching above their weight class. You've got Backbone, you've got Kai, and I honestly don't remember how to pronounce his name. Maimon. I'm gonna say Maimon. I'm probably wrong. Backbone and Kai, really good duo here. You got Funny Astro in the backline and Cronus, who look to be playing pretty decently. And also they put Backbone into, they put Bone back in for the support. So, that's pretty good. And Jkaru is also a player that's been around for a while, and I don't know if they played any Smex. I didn't watch enough of their matches to know if they played Smex, but it's a pretty solid team. So I think, looking at those two and comparing the roles, I have to give it to Britain. But you know what? I'm gonna say I think Britain might get pushed to the brink here. I don't know why. It's just a feeling I have. Now onto these two teams. It's gotta be. I think Saudi Arabia's gonna blow them out. I do not think Spain has what it takes to deal with Saudi Arabia. I'm gonna be honest. And I think it's not gonna be close. I think this is gonna be another blowout game. Which puts us on to the semifinals. This is a goated match. Why is this in the semifinals? This should be the finals. Maybe. I have a hard time judging Saudi Arabia because I feel like the group they were in is, it's called the group of death because whoever was second seed was going to go up here into this stacked group. But, I mean, they're all pretty decent teams. You had USA, you had Saudi Arabia, you had Japan, and you had France, and they were all pretty solid. And Saudi Arabia didn't drop a map, which is, crazy. And they beat USA pretty handily. But either way, I really feel like this is the grand finals that people were probably expecting, or this is kind of a precursor. This feels like the grand finals energy. This feels like this is gonna be a really close match, and crazily enough, I feel like everyone's looking at Korea this year. They got all those talented players, but I think that China is going to be the team to beat in this tournament. I think the pre-existing synergy of that Hangzhou Spark squad and their ability to push teams to the brink in the Overwatch Grand Finals, where they got third place, and they had to scrim against these Sigma compositions, and they know how to, at the very least, contest with them, and they're not playing against a team who's as good as Florida Mayhem was on that Sigma composition. They're playing against Korea, and I think honestly, if you're gonna compare them pound for pound for the dive, China has a better squad right now, which sounds crazy because Korea is Lip, Sparkle, Fearless, Chio, and Fielder. And that sounds crazy to say that group is not the better dive team, but I think China just has that level of synergy and that level of clutch that we saw in the playoffs. They beat Atlanta Reign 3-2, and this isn't even the Atlanta Reign. This is a kind of an amalgamation of the two things, and I think Fearless is probably a better player than Donghack. I say probably. Fearless is definitely a better player than Donghack. Donghack was really good this year, but Fearless is, he's got the mental fortitude to not crack under pressure. But I just think the pre-existing synergy of the Hangzhou Spark is going to take them across the line here. I'm going to say that Korea, though, despite some of their somewhat questionable performances, that it's going to be a shootout. I think that Korea is going to push them with a 3-2 match here, but I think China is going to ultimately come out on top. And then we go down to Saudi Arabia versus Great Britain. But before we do, Cole uses his phone and checks a message that he got. And it's from Ryan. Ryan, I'm recording this as you sent that message. Alright, I'll do this quick so I can play some Overwatch with you. KSA versus Great Britain. I think Saudi Arabia is going to take the W here. And I think Great Britain may be able to squeeze out a map against them, but I think Saudi Arabia is just on a different level from what we've seen. Because they did not falter in that group, and I think that group was stronger than the group that Great Britain was in. So I think this is Saudi Arabia pushing themselves to the finals, which is just insane. Just insane. No one would have expected that, because if the United States had been on this side of the bracket, I think that they probably would have been in the same situation. And I think there's a chance for Great Britain. If they really iron out some of their issues. There were definitely some maps that they went 6-0 as well, but there were some maps that I didn't look at them in the same light of dominance as I felt like Saudi Arabia had in their performance. And I also think that just Saudi Arabia, like I said, they had more difficult opponents, but if they can iron out their issues, I think that there's a chance that they push Saudi Arabia to the brink here. Which leaves us. Oh. There you go. With a wild finals. Just a wild finals here. And what the hell is going on up here? What the hell? Too many layers, guys. It's like too many layers. Why do I have so many layers? Okay. Wild finals here. China versus Saudi Arabia. I don't know if many people are going to have this at the end of their bracket, but I think that this is, if this is where we go, this is going to be a wild match to see. It'll be interesting to see these two styles clash, because I still think that China is going to be pushing this dive much heavier than Saudi Arabia is. Saudi Arabia is pretty much playing just a Sigma comp, if I remember correctly, and they might be the best at it in this tournament because they are a squad that has practiced for a while together. They were all on an Overwatch Contenders team, if I'm not mistaken, or most of them were. And you know, KSA is looking great. Quartz is playing really well. I think UB is playing really well, and then you know, Sir Majed, you know, Overwatch League talent, he's playing great. So I think this is another potentially really close match, but honestly, from my prediction, I think that I think these might all be close maps. I think that the score I'm putting here might not reflect the actual match, but I think China is just going to have that much more, just a little bit more of an edge in each of these matches, or even these maps, and they're going to be able to squeeze out the W against Saudi Arabia. But I think this is going to be a really interesting finals. I'm really excited that we're going to have clashing styles between these two brackets, because I feel like the top is definitely, you know, the two favorites, Korea and China, are more of the dive-centric teams, whereas I feel like the bottom side of the bracket is pretty much just that Sigma composition. And then we are going to have Korea taking on Great Britain in the losers. And as much as I want to, you know, have the hopium that Great Britain is going to be able to, you know, push Korea to the brink here, I don't think they will. I do not think they will. I think by this point, Korea will have figured out whatever issues they were having. And, you know, while China might be able to fell them, I don't think it's going to be close with them and Great Britain. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think they have pound for pound. I think Korea is just a better team. So that is my bracket. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I guess where you guys would rate differently in this bracket. But I'm excited to watch these games. I think this is going to be really fun. Very interesting tournament. So let's see what happens.